the format is we sit. We don't sit a long time simply because we don't have a long time. And the importance of an in-person gathering and even a Zoom gathering is the community. The Buddha said the community is the most important part of practice. Plus, I feel it's important to dialogue about the Dharma and have ample time to answer questions and respond to topics that might come up. Sure, go ahead. So we start with sitting. We segue from sitting into an open floor of, if you have a question that arose from your sitting experience, if you have a comment about it. If no one has any questions or comments about their today's meditative experience, then we open the floor to anybody that's struggling with anything. And struggle can be severe or it can be minor difficulty. But community is a safe place to talk and share about issues. What we talk about stays here. If nobody's struggling or nobody wants to admit they're struggling, I'll do a bit of Dharma talk. Feel free to raise your hand at any point to comment or question. If you have a topic or a question about practice, feel free to bring that up. And it's kind of freestyle, wing it. The reason we don't sit a long time also is because I'm very big about quality versus quantity. That's not to say sitting longer is not beneficial, but it's not beneficial if it has the wrong intention and the experience is not a present moment true experience. That being said, and I say this almost every week and the regulars are sick of it, bad meditation is good if you're present completely for how bad it is. So we're not trying to meditate to get good at meditation. We're not trying to meditate to become better people. We're not trying to meditate to have a particular experience or to create a different experience than what our experience is. That said, does meditation and practice help us change and become better people? Yeah. Not because it changes us in some kind of intrinsic way, though it does change us. We become better people because we change our relationship with ourselves. So it's not necessarily creating such new holy habits. It's accepting maybe our flaws, accepting who we are for what we are. And that doesn't mean we have to stay there, but generally our lives have been avoiding that person. So meditation really foundationally is about accepting who we are and accepting what's happening when it's happening and just being there, which most of us have rarely done. And in fact, we've been conditioned not to do those things. So some brief meditation instructions. You generally want your waist higher than your knees. You want to be able to put your knees comfortably down. If you can't, maybe you put something under them, bless you. We want to just have a secure and stable position. That said, meditation is not completely dependent on our physical posture. That's part of it, but meditation is really about working with the mind. And we have to do that all the time. Meditation is not just sitting on a cushion Sunday mornings. It's in every moment of our life. So what we learn in here, we take out of here. So I purposely have the lights on. It's a little chilly, right? You can grab a blanket but meditation, in my opinion, as a meditation teacher, from my experience and from my teachers, if our mindset that we cultivate today is dependent on conditions that are completely conducive for it, we're probably not going to be able to achieve it out there under the duress of life itself when conditions are completely against. So I try not to set up a setting, a spiritual setting of sedate lights and candles and those things are all good. But my Buddhism is about being pragmatic and practical with an application that's realistic. So if it's a little too cold for you, that resistance to cold is something you can work with. And if it's too bright, that brightness is something you can work with. There's an old Zen story, and I won't talk much longer, but there's a Zen story that the student says to the teacher, how can we not be cold and not be hot? And the teacher says, well, you have to go to the place where there's no heat and there's no cold. And the student says, where is that place? And the teacher says, well, when it's cold, you have to be completely cold. And when it's hot, you have to be completely hot. What makes you hot or what makes you cold is the resistance to it. Right? If the water's cold, it's very hard to get in it by tippy-toeing or going to our ankle, right? We run in, fully immerse ourselves in the cold water. Suddenly we're not cold anymore. It's not cold anymore. We adjust. We adapt. Does that make sense? So the studio being a bit cold. So you guys at home that are all comfortable, maybe make yourselves a bit uncomfortable because open your windows. Because meditation and Buddhist practice is about being comfortable with uncomfortability. So what I'll urge you in meditation is, if you feel pain in your knee or back or you feel uncomfortable, I'm not saying sit in pain, but maybe sit with uncomfortability a bit longer than your mind would have you. So when that thought comes up, I need to move. Maybe don't. Maybe sit with that uncomfortability for 30 seconds longer. And you know what happens? You see that what you were uncomfortable already shifted without you doing anything. Everything's temporary. It's when we resist that it becomes, we permeate, what's the word I'm looking for? We perpetuate it, and it seems worse than it is because we're ruminating in our mind about it. But when we just say, okay, throbbing. What are the conditions of throbbing? And then suddenly the conditions have changed, so the throbbing's gone. Can we bring our attention to notice that happening and then changing? Don't start thinking about what's happening. Just be with what is as it is. So if any questions come up about that, but note how your mind will interject itself, because that's what it does, it thinks. So you're not trying to stop thinking, you're trying to let the thoughts come and go. Any questions before we sit? Okay. Find a comfortable place. Generally, if your eyes are going to be open, you want to keep them just a little open, maybe gazing at the floor in front of you. If you close them, note that closing them is a signal to the body that we're going to sleep, so it might tire you. If you get a little tired, open your eyes just a bit. I personally like to do both, but I think with the eyes open a little, it doesn't shut out the external stimuli. So we have to deal with both our inner experience and the outer experience. First meditative exercise is, I'm going to hit the bell 3 times. This is just not to denote the beginning of our practice. It's also a practice unto itself. Listen to the ring. Stay with it as long as till it dissipates on its own. Can you stay with the bell? Try that.